Hello everyone, I'm Wayne from Vow Media. I'm here with the crocodile conservationist, Mr. Henriques. Mr. Henriques, good afternoon. Could you tell us where we are exactly?
The facility is named the Holland Crocodile Conservation Sanctuary. It was established the early part of last year to rehabilitate, rescue wild crocodiles that are being caught and injured by people, or animals that are naturally found in the wild in a bad state, physical state, due to either natural damage or by other people, by humans. And we take these animals, we look after them, and if we can repatriate them back to the wild, this is what we do. We also maintain animals here for education purposes. So people from various NGOs, universities, school groups who want to come to learn about, and the general public who want to come and learn about crocodile conservation, why we're trying to do this, they can come and spend time here and learn about our largest natural protected species in Jamaica.
All right, so I'm looking forward to getting an exciting tour to see what exactly that takes place here. All right.
This section of the facility at the front is a two-stage nursery. It's designed to rear hatchling crocodiles from they come out of the egg, or other hatchling crocodiles which are recovered from the wild that may be in not too good a condition, to a certain size before we transfer them over to a next rearing section in the main facility. So animals that are in here right now are from several different locations, including Chirani Swamp Safari, where we take some of their hatchling crocodiles and we rear these up as well as animals that have been recovered from nearby nests, which have been put under pressure by people who don't really want the nests in close proximity to their homes, if they live on areas where the canals are, or the river bankings in certain places in South East St. Thomas.
Okay. And what's the number of these guys there?
Right now we have approximately 40 animals. We had a few more, but hatchling crocodiles are very sensitive, and sometimes they don't pull through, and this is one of the problems in the wild, that nests, a lot of them, the nests actually don't even hatch out. So these animals, the few that we have here right now, are very important that we try and bring these through so that we'll be able to pass like the first year, where they'll get a lot stronger, and then they will be able to grow out more easily, where you don't have to worry about their health so much.
And I see the different sizes. What are the age group of these animals?
These animals basically are between 5 and 6 months.
5 and 6 months.
Yeah, they grow at different rates, a lot of them. In a lot of crocodile nests, you have a percentage of hatchlings, those that actually come out of the eggs.
Yeah.
They grow much slower, and they don't really grow that big if they're allowed to survive. So they're not really competitive in the wild, but we give everybody a chance here to see how they get on.
Okay, that's good. And say you want to move them, is that like a net?
No, we just pick them up.
Just pick them up?
Transfer them over into the main facility.
And these little guys are not aggressive?
No, they're actually afraid of it. What we want, this type of situation that we deal with here, with these animals, is we want these animals to be as scared of us as possible. So in the wild, if we repatriate them to the wild,
they take the safer route and exit.
They will basically keep away from people.
Yes.
So you don't want to get too familiar with them. We feed them, we do the basic husbandry, make sure the water quality is up to scratch, etc. But we don't avoid contact with the animal as far as possible.
And that's so young. What do you guys feed them with?
These particular animals here are given a diet mainly consisting of diced chicken gizzard and chicken liver.
Chicken gizzard?
Yeah.
It pays to be a crocodile.
This enclosure here has approximately 36 animals in. These animals are basically a year and a half old now. They were born year before last. So they're now halfway through their second year. These guys are into their second year, halfway through their second year now. They were born the year before last. Most of these came down from Swamp Safari, and we took these animals now and we're rearing them up. So hopefully within the next year we're going to be able to repatriate some of these animals back into the wild. This young male was rescued about 3 months ago from a drain out at Bowden. Unfortunately, what happens is that this drain pipe is seen as a nice little secure area by the animal to go and hide in, to protect itself from other crocodiles that may be in the area, especially males, larger males, which are very territorial. It's also a death trap, because if local people know that the crocodile is in there, they block the back of the drain so the crocodile can't escape, and then they hook the animal out of the drain from the other side and basically kill it. And unfortunately, as we know in Jamaica what is happening now, a lot of these animals are being destroyed for the illegal meat trade. So we've taken this little animal out. He's recovering very well. He had a few cuts and bruises from, obviously people have been trying to catch him but had failed. I think they've taken quite a few, unfortunately, from that area, in that same drain. So what I'm looking at possibly now is to put a grate across the front and the back that the larger animals can't go in there. This young subadult female was actually living in the canal that runs beside the sanctuary on this side. But because every so often the canals are cleaned, they're dredged to keep them from silting up and overgrowing with vegetation, we brought her in for safekeeping, because the excavator may damage her or even kill her. So she's here now. I may in fact use this animal for breeding purposes, because we have so few females left in the wild right now doing any breeding, that she could actually be a useful crocodile to actually produce hatchlings in a safe environment for repatriation into the wild.
So this is Rogue. This is the second biggest crocodile you have in the sanctuary, right?
At the moment, yes. This animal came from Bowden. A few years ago he was caught up by Leith Hall, and he was put in the Nepper enclosures down at the zoo, which are holding areas. Because of his size, he's about 11.5 foot. It's really too big an animal to be released back into the wild right now, so we brought him up here. I've got a couple of females to bring in from Trelawney, and I think I'll put one female with him just to sort of quiet him down and see if I can basically get him back to breeding again.
I had no idea these size crocodiles were in Bowden. And see,
we have crocodiles still in Jamaica. They're not very common, up to 14 plus feet long, but they're few and far between.
That's incredible.
They do grow quite big.
Very big.
He's actually quite good-natured, yes. He's actually quite a good-natured crocodile.
And so you want to transport this size crocodile to another part of the sanctuary. How do you do that?
We don't normally move the crocs. We try to establish them in areas, and they live in these areas. Because the facility is so big, and it's like a wetland that has been fenced around, we don't really want to move them.
So once you place them in, that's
the idea is more likely to move a female around than a male.
And these one won't release back in the wild?
No, this size animal will not be released back into the wild. We have no habitat left to support animals this size. And if we do, they will displace other smaller crocs because they're highly territorial. So one large male living in an area can take up habitat that a dozen smaller animals could otherwise occupy.
Yeah, because they're very territorial, right?
Yes, very highly territorial.
Wow, it's an incredible animal, very large. Look at the scales.
Yeah. The crocodile, the large male bull over here, we call him Thrasher. He's an aged crocodile, also came from an Nepper enclosure at the zoo. He was originally brought in from Portmore by UDC a few years ago. We've taken him out to free the Nepper enclosures up a bit. He's approximately 13 feet long. So right now, here he's the longest crocodile. He may not be the bulkiest, but he's the longest. But he's a grumpy old man, as they say. He likes his privacy. He doesn't really tolerate people coming into his enclosure. I plan to put a couple of females with him eventually as well and simmer him down, see if I can get him a little bit more amenable. But like the other two males, unlike the other two males, he's not an animal that you can get too friendly with at the moment. But in time, I think he'll simmer down. In this enclosure, we have a large bull, which is also another rescue from Grant's Pen a few years ago. We had to amputate part of his forearm because it had been tied up illegally and it had rotted. So we had to do an amputation. Right now, in here, he's with two females, one of which he's bred very early in the year. Actually, it's very early for the breeding season right here. The female is here. She's Daisy. She's about 9'11", nearly 10 feet. She's put a nest out over there in the corner of the enclosure. Nested last weekend. So right now, we're just watching the situation. The nest will stay in the ground. It's protected from mongoose by using mesh, because we do have plenty of mongoose in the, they come through the sanctuary, go through the fencing, looking for scraps. So we don't want them digging up the nest to damage the eggs or destroy the nest. So she's here. She's very laid back. She's not aggressive. She's not defending her nest like some young females do and they chase you around the place. She's just a cool crocodile right now. Come on, girl. Come. Come. Come, mama. Come here. All right, sit. Sit. Down. 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 All right, good girl.
So this is Daisy, right?
This is Daisy. This is a 9'11" female.
And this is her nest.
This is her nest. She laid it last weekend between Saturday night and early hours on Sunday morning. So this is very early. This is actually one of the earliest nests I've ever seen in Jamaica. Normally the nesting is March into April.
And how long these eggs take to hatch?
Approximately 85 to 90 days usually, if the conditions are right.
So 3 months.
3 months.
3 months. And when these eggs are hatched, what are you going to do with these? You're going to move them or you're going to leave them?
These will go into the nursery section because we're putting another nursery enclosure in. These will go into the nursery section and then these will be reared as well.
Okay. And then how long would it take for this one to be ready to
They
mate
breed
again?
once a year.
Once a year?
Once a year, and they don't breed every year. She's bred 2 years straight now. We took her from Palisados last year. She was coming up at the Royal Yacht Club, the Royal Jamaica Yacht Club. And because of her size, she nested there already, and people are a bit apprehensive with children around in the boats and everything. So we brought her here, hatched out the nest, relocated the eggs to here, and we hatched out the babies here, which some of you see around there. Okay. And she's now mated with this big guy over here this year again. So we probably won't breed her next year.
What I want to know, a female of this size, how old is she? What age range?
Well, judging by her features, her facial features, and her length, although you can't use length because they can be quite old and still not be that long in terms of growth. Depends on how they've gone through.
She still have all her teeth.
This animal is probably close to 20 years old.
Wow. And in the crocodile world, that's young, right? Because they normally go up to...
That's still pretty young, yeah.
They go up to probably like 90, 100 years?
No, that's not normal.
That's a normal?
Normal. 55 to 65 years is pretty good.
Okay.
She's a remarkable animal actually, because normally when the females nest and are watching the nest from a distance, either in a pond or in the undergrowth, they stop feeding. And some will actually not feed for the whole duration of the incubation until it's time for them to extract the hatchlings when the the nests are ready because the babies will call. They're not like turtles. They don't free themselves normally. The mother has to dig them out.
Yes.
So she's actually been eating heavily this week. So within the first few days of her actually nesting, which is very stressful, she's packing on the pounds again.
Yeah, she's quite bulky.
That's why she's so bulky again. So she's an extraordinary animal. Not very aggressive either, which is really wonderful.
Protecting mother.
Yeah, she's a good crocodile.